Nigeria, my country, we hail thee. Thank you so very much for being part of this program again. Once again, I welcome you all to the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. Today's conference is another special edition during which we will address the Renewed Hope agenda of the present administration in Nigeria regarding its economic reforms and how it is ensuring economic growth and assisting in uplifting Nigerians across the length and breadth of the country. My co-hosts for today are Honorable Jacob Ogusheye, Haji Areki Abubakar Bello, Udeme Ukwe, and Sheon Bayewu, as well as Barrister Tosi Olayinka, who will be assisting me in moderating today's conference to ensure a smooth and uninterrupted deliberation. This conference is streaming live across social media and especially on Ben TV, courtesy of the CEO of the first Nigerian African digital TV channel, headed by CEO Alistair Sherody. Thank you so much, sir, for your assistance always. We appreciate that. Just looking through the conference, I can see we have new faces as usual, including the regulars. Towards the end of the program, I will be acknowledging the presence of our leaders and stakeholders in the house. In the meantime, on behalf of the team behind the Renewed Hope Global, I welcome you all to today's session. As usual, we have in our midst a VVIP who will engage with us for the next 2 hours on the theme of today, which is From Hardship to Hope, how Tinubu'S economic reforms are uplifting Nigerians step by step. On the hot seat today to dissect this theme is our special guest, a distinguished economist, seasoned investment banker, a visionary leader, an exceptional achiever, and selfless patriot, who goes by the name Dr. Obire, as a PhD. He is the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Thoughts Project, TNTP. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce to the House that our special guest of honor for today has joined the conference. Like I said earlier on, his name is Dr. Odiakpo Obire, PhD. He's the DG CEO of the Nigerian Thoughts Project, TNTP. So, to kickstart the conference, please permit me to read out the profile of our special guest, Dr. Odiakpo Obire, who is a visionary leader, like I said earlier on, an exceptional achiever, and a selfless patriot. He is also a distinguished economist, seasoned investment banker, and a renowned transaction advisor. Dr. Odiakpo Obire embodies excellence and dedication. With over 29 years of experience in finance, assets management, transaction advisory, insurance, and strategic consulting, he has left an indelible mark on Africa's business landscape. Dr. Obire's academic prowess is matched only by his professional accomplishments. He has successfully led high-profile projects, consulted and advised countries, multinationals, and steered companies to greatness. As a leader, Dr. Obire's impact extends beyond the boardroom. He has served as chairman and CEO of various organizations, driving growth and innovation. His commitment to good governance and leadership earned him the presidency of Good Leadership Advocacy for Africa, GLAFA. A devoted servant of the people, Dr. Obire has consulted for countries, state governments, and contributed to Africa's development. His political acumen and grassroots mobilization skills have earned him respect within the All Progressives Congress, Nigeria's ruling party. Through his leadership of Good Leadership Advocacy for Africa, GLAFA, a Pan-African body of 54 countries, Dr. Obire promotes exemplary governance, empowering African leaders to drive positive change. As publisher and editor-in-chief of Letters to Nigerian Leaders, he provides a platform for constructive dialogue, fostering accountability and progressive leadership. Dr. Obire's selflessness, integrity, and leadership distinguish him as a shining example for future generations. His admirers to strive excellence, embrace challenges, and serve with purpose. He is a former gubernatorial candidate in Delta 2029 and the chieftain of the All Progressive Congress and a dedicated member of BAT Vanguard. That is Bola Ahmed Tinubu'S Vanguard. That, in a nutshell, is the brief of our special guest for today. So, Your Excellency, sir, you are highly welcome to this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, our main topic for today is From Hardship to Hope: How Tinubu's economic reforms are uplifting Nigerians step by step. Usually, I will be the first to fire the first salvo of questions to our special guest, but I understand that you have a presentation to make. So, Nigerians, I must warn you, for the past 1 month now, every week in, week out, we have always been taken back to school. So, brace up yourself for another school experience today. I want to learn. So, I have my mind open, sir. So, you have the floor now for the next 1 hour. You can regale us with whatever. Shoot us with everything you've got, sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nigerians. I welcome you to today's edition of the Pali. Today we are looking at from hardship to hope, how the Tinubu economic reforms are uplifting Nigerians step by step. I want to reintroduce myself for those who are just coming in. I am Dr. Obire. I'm an economist, an investment banker, and a renowned transaction advisor with over 29 years experience in finance, asset management, transaction advisory, insurance, and strategic consulting. I consult on economic issues to some governments across Africa and also share the board of several companies. Also, I am the current president of the Good Leadership Advocacy for Africa, GLAFA, a Pan-African body. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Nigerian Thought Project. I also serve as the publisher of the innovative Letters to Nigerian Leaders. I provide this background today so you can understand that I speak from an informed perspective. Nigeria has long been seen as a beacon of hope and potential in Africa because it has a lot of human and natural resources. But in the last few years, millions of Nigerians have had to deal with constant economic problems that have made the country's future seem less bright. Inflation rates went through the roof, making basic needs out of reach for most people. Unemployment was at all-time high. Millions of young people were having hard time finding jobs and looking at greener pastures in other countries, which form the Japa syndrome. And even the country, even though Nigeria is so blessed, a lot of people are still in a cycle of poverty and despair. But in the middle of all these problems, there is a glimmer of hope. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's bold vision and quick decisions are bringing about a new era. His government has realized how important it is to make changes, and the hope for a better future is starting to take shape through a series of major economic reforms. President Tinubu's policies are making Nigeria stronger and more resilient by restructuring the economy and dealing with long-standing problems like inflation and unemployment. These are critical areas. This much, the World Bank has confirmed. In addition, our economic gurus like Dr. Okonjo-Iweala and Professor Soludo have also lent their voices too. Today, we are here to talk about something very important for the future of every Nigerian, how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is changing the economy of our country, Nigeria. Nigeria has been at a crossroad for the past years. The economy has been in deep trouble, and the country has faced a lot of problems that have made it hard for many people to make ends meet. But in the middle of all these economic troubles, a light of hope has appeared, which is President Tinubu's economic reform. And they are not just ideas, they are real, useful policies that are starting to work and show results. This speech will take and talk much about how these changes are changing our country step by step. We will talk about the real steps being taken to make our money more stable, lower the cost of living, and open up job opportunities for the next generation. More importantly, we will look at how these changes are giving Nigerians more hope, more power, by giving them the real solutions to their daily problems and making sure that the hope for a better future is not just a distant dream, but something that is happening right now. In this rally, we want to do more than just talk about the progress that has been made. We want to stress the vision behind these reforms. A Nigerian that rises from hardship to hope, that turns challenges into opportunities, that build an economy that works for all Nigerians, no matter who they are or what their situation is. We are about to go into a great detail about the strategic economic reform that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put in place. These reforms are not just ideas, like I said, they are being put into action to solve the most important problems our country is facing right now. These policies are not just meant to keep the economy stable, they are meant to change it so that Nigeria doesn't just get through its economic problems, but also does well in spite of them. We will closely look at how these changes are directly addressing root cause of Nigerian economic problems, such as controlling the rising cost of living, dealing with the high rate of unemployment, or making the money less dependent on the economy, less dependent on oil. These changes, like getting rid of fuel subsidies and changing the way foreign exchange market works, shows that Nigeria is taking a different approach to its economy. But most importantly, we will look at how these changes are affecting the lives of the regular Nigerian family, businesses, and communities that have been dealing with economic problems for too long. One, we will take a look at economic crisis before the reforms and the aftermath of the reform. Before Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to office, Nigerian economy was in a deepening crisis that had a big effect on the lives of its people. High inflation, unstable foreign exchange rates, high unemployment, rising debt, insecurity, overall stagnation in many sectors made the economy worse. Now, looking at high inflations, the cost of living went up quickly and inflation rates reached all-time high. Prices for everyday things, especially food, went up a lot. In 2022, inflation rose to 22.02%. And food prices rose even more to 22.41% as at May 2023, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over government, indicating a significant increase of 0.19%, making it 4.07 higher than the May 2022, the previous year. Then looking at unstable foreign exchange, The naira kept losing value against major currencies, making Nigerian foreign exchange market unstable. This hurt businesses and made imports more expensive. The unstable currency also made inflow worse, as the prices of imported goods, from electronics to fuel, went up to a lot. This meant that Nigerian businesses had to pay more to run their businesses and couldn't compete as well in the global market. Then unemployment and underemployment. The Nigerian unemployment rate was very high, with estimates putting it at about 33% in 2023. The number along with a lot of people being underemployed meant that millions of Nigerians, especially young people, couldn't find stable jobs or become financially independent. For a lot of people, the dream of a bright future seemed more and more out of reach. People who graduated from the university couldn't find jobs in their fields, and those who worked in the formal sector were in dangerous situation with little support or security. Then rising national debt was another issue before this administration. The country's debt load had been too high to handle because the government kept borrowing money to pay its way and pay off old debts. Nigerian national debt grew to a scary 113.42 billion as at May 2023. The government had a hard time keeping up with the basic public service because oil prices were low and it couldn't make enough money at home. This was especially true for healthcare and also education. This financial strain put even more stress on the economy that was already weak as at that time. Then the general economic stagnation, as at the time the Tinubu government took over, the economic growth has stopped across a wide range of industries. From farming to manufacturing, Nigerian heavy reliance on oil and lack of economic diversity made the country very vulnerable to outside shocks. Like changes in global oil prices, the economy seemed to be stuck in a circle of underperformance because there wasn't much investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare. This left Nigerians with rising poverty and few opportunities. Real-life examples of economic problems. The economic crisis wasn't just a number. It changed the lives of Nigerians every day. Almost every part of the lives of the average person felt the weight of these problems. As at the time of this administration coming in, Nigerians were really yearning for a renewed hope. Then high food prices. At the time, a loaf of bread that used to cost 300 naira rose more than 1,800, 1,700. In just 1 year, the prices of rice, which is a staple food for many Nigerian families, went up to 40%. Food prices went up so much, many families had to make very tough decisions about whether to buy food or to pay for other necessities like medicines and transportation. And in the midst of all this, there was also the lack of fuel, the fuel that Nigeria were also dealing with. There were always fuel shortages, and many Nigerians had to wait in queues for hours at petrol stations because there wasn't enough fuel supply. Transportation costs went up, which made goods and services more expensive across the country. Transporters passed on the high fuel cost to consumers, which made the inflationary spiral even worsen than the way it was. Then for regular Nigerians, the cost of getting to work or school became a huge burden which made their financial problem even worsen. On top of these monetary problems, the quality of basic services like healthcare education, and electricity had gotten a lot worse. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took office, many Nigerians were unhappy with the state of the country. People from all walks of life in Nigeria were not only feeling the pain of the economy, but they were also getting angrier and angrier with the government inability to make real changes. The economic crisis has reached a breaking point, and people wanted quick fixes for the country's long-term problems. Protests, social movements grew louder across the country, with Nigerians calling for a change in the economic system. People were disappointed because various governments couldn't stop inflation or stabilize the naira or even create jobs. People were sick of waiting for promises that never came true. And they wanted leaders who could give them the real useful way to make their lives better. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over with his Renew Hope agenda in a time of anger and no hope. In a time of hunger and no hope. The people of Nigeria had had enough and were ready for something new. They wanted changes that would help them right away, immediate changes, and also make it possible for long-term growth. It was clear what they wanted, what Nigerians wanted. It was very clear. An economic plan that will create jobs, lower poverty, keep prices stable, and give Nigerians hope for the future. Then two, a plan for change, the Tinubu economic vision. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took office, the Nigerian was dealing with a number of economic problems that are hurting the people, such as high inflation, rising unemployment, and unstable currency. But Tinubu didn't want to fix the Nigerian economy with quick fixes or short-term solutions. Instead, his economic plans aims at solving the country's biggest problems with long-term sustainable changes that will unlock the country's huge potential. Diversification, long-term growth, and making Nigeria a good place for both domestic and foreign investments are all important parts of Tinubu's visions for the country's economy. The president has said that Nigeria needs to quickly diversify into other areas like agriculture, technology, manufacturing, and services because the country's reliance on oil has made its economy vulnerable to changes in global prices. His vision is more than just keeping the economy stable. He wants to turn Nigeria into an economic powerhouse in Africa that can compete at the world stage. That is the bet of a $1 trillion economy vision. In his speech and manifestos, Tinubu has always said that the economic growth should be fair and benefit all Nigerians, especially those who are the most disadvantaged. He has said that the country needs to support a strong and competitive economy driven by innovation, entrepreneurship, and smart governance to lower poverty and raise the standard of living for all citizens. The economic vision is to use Nigeria's large population and natural resources to build an economy that is more resilient, diverse, and competitive on the world stage. Then the important areas of change that we need to look at is one, managing the currency and the exchange rates. The currency crisis, which had been hurting the Nigerian economy for years, was one of the most urgent problems that President Tinubu had to deal with right away. The naira was losing value against the dollar at an alarming rate. These hurt businesses, raised prices for consumers, and made people feel less secure about the economy as a whole. The country also had more than one exchange rate which made things less efficient and opened door for arbitrage. This made it hard for businesses to plan and do well in a competitive market. In response, President Tinubu came up with a bold plan to get rid of the multiple exchange rate system and made the exchange rate the same for everyone. This government took strong steps to make sure that all foreign exchange transactions were done at same clear rate. The goal of this was to lower the speculation in the currency market and make foreign investors feel more confident in the Nigerian economy. The government wanted to stabilize the naira by making the exchange rate more in line with what was really going on in the market. That is very important to note, what was really going on in the market. This would make Nigerian currency more valuable, which would keep inflation in check and make investors feel better about the economy. By dealing with the currency issue directly, he set the stage for future growth and made it clear to the market that Nigeria was serious about following good fiscal policies and making the economy more open for everyone. Then two, taking away the subsidy that changed the fuel prices. One of the most controversial but necessary changes made by the Tinubu administration was getting rid of the fuel subsidy. Nigeria had been subsidizing and paying for fuel for years, which cost the government a lot of money and drained the national treasury. The subsidies were meant to keep fuel prices low for Nigerians, but they ended up making the country's economy less stable. A supposed beautiful venture that was overridden by massive corruption, a supposed beautiful venture that was overridden by massive corruption. Not only did they make the energy sector less efficient, but they also took resources away from other important public services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Tinubu made the brave choice to remove fuel subsidies so that the money, the naira, could be used, the monies realized could be used for important infrastructure projects and long-term economic growth. At first, people didn't like it. People didn't like this decision because it will hurt consumer right away by making fuel prices go up. However, it was necessary to make sure that Nigerian finances would be stable. The government could use the money it saved by getting rid of the subsidy to improve transport, power, healthcare, education, and other things that have a direct effect on Nigerians in their daily living. Then three, inflation and the people. As of December 2023, with the audacious removal of fuel subsidy, the floating of the naira, inflation rose to 28.92%, which was expected by the effect of the removal of subsidy and floating of the naira. As at May 2024, it got worse and bite harder as it rose to 40.66, which was 15.84% higher compared to the rate recorded as at May 2023 of 24.82% on year-on-year basis. This further made it harder for Nigerians to buy basic needs. Now, the gains came in. Positive impact of Tinubu reforms on inflation as it affects the people and their businesses. Consistency is key, as they say. In 2025, Nigeria has recorded disinflation for the past 4 months. For 4 months, inflation figures kept coming down, with the factors that are driving it to a large effect of the elevated monetary policy rate that has been high. In a way, help to control and stabilize the exchange rate and stabilize the core inflation. So with that, we see core inflations dropping significantly. We also saw that energy prices has dropped. The administration has been able to stabilize According to the National Bureau of Statistics, inflations have dropped from 33.4% as at last year, with the impact of fuel subsidy removal and unification of the exchange rate as key factors driving the inflations down. It has dropped to 21.88% in July 2025 from 22.3% within a month. Food inflation has now dropped to 22.74% from 40-point-something% it was as at last year. Now, let's look at the components of economy, which are the household investors and the government segment. The drop in inflation has significantly impacted for households as it has increased their purchasing power because they can spend more and economy will boom. That's impact on investment as well, because as inflation reduces, it has impact on cost of input. And that can increase the cost of input to go down, even though it is not as significant as low as we expected, but it will continue to go down, and that can increase production. When inflation is coming down, you will see cost of input. Yes, inflation is high, but the rate at which they increase cost of input will be decreasing, and this can then increase what households are buying, thereby increasing production sector. Again, for government, it does too. Government also involved in massive infrastructure projects, and all that also have a way of boosting the economy. Overall, that's positive impact on the economy already. We have recorded. Now that inflation has come down significantly, basically prices pressure is coming down gradually. The pressure on the prices are easing significantly because of the impact of what CBN has been able to do, stopping speculation on the exchange rate, and that has been able to reduce the exchange rate pass-through effect on inflation, because exchange rates, oil prices are one of those things that pass through, which causes prices to go up. So if core inflation has gone down, what it signifies basically is that prices pressure are gradually easing off. Then the role of Naira stability in curbing this inflation, we need to know it. The metrics and variables are interwoven. When there is Naira stability, it has a way of cooling off core inflation. If it's not stable, it can again cause high inflation. So Naira stability is key. That's why the CBN is doing all it can to ensure that the FS is stable, the Naira is stable, so we can continue to have inflation going down. Having inflation rise in 21 states today, out of the 36 states and FCT, we still have inflation rise in 21 states and decline in 16 states, shows that inflation is still high. What it means is that inflation is still on the high side, and the impact varies across the states. What we should be looking at is, yes, we have some progress, but the impact is not significant enough for the progress to be more significant. We must have more states that have low inflation. There's still a lot to be done. The states and local governments, where inflation is still high, need to step up their games, because they now have more money to invest in core economic-driven sectors that will drive down inflation in their states. This is not federal government issue. Monetary policy implication as it concerns the inflation. There's strong relationship between the monetary and the fiscal policies to be able to control inflation rates. Tinubu government, through the fiscal policies, has increased the drive for spending on infrastructure, public borrowing, and tax drive in combating inflation. CBN has continued to raise the interest rate to clamp down the winds of inflation, as increased borrowing costs due to higher interest rate could lead to decreased spending by consumers and businesses, which in turn have helped to moderate the rates of prices. Our foreign reserve rose from 3.99 billion in 2023 to 23.11 billion in 2024, which is at about 479% increase, and now 41 billion on August 19, 2025, reaching their highest level in 44 months, according to data published by the CBN. The current figure is the strongest since December 2021, and that reflects a steady build-up in recent weeks after months of gradual depletion linked to debt repayment. The increase in August has been particularly sharp. Reserves climbs from 39.54 billion on August 1st to 41 billion by August 19, just within some weeks, about 2 weeks plus or thereabout. A rise of about 1.4 billion or 3.9% in less than 3 weeks. The gains have been consistent across trading days with only marginal losses. The Tinubu Renew Hope administration recorded trade surpluses of 14.31 billion in 2024, and the highest in the history of Nigeria. Total exports stood at $38.93 billion, while import stands at $24.62 billion. The trade balance for first quarter of 2025 also remained positive at 5.17 trillion naira, indicating an increase of 51.07% compared to the value recorded in the preceding quarter. According to NBS, Nigeria export trade continued to be able to dominated by the crude in the first quarter of 2025, but gradually increases performance from non-oil sector like agriculture, which saw significant growth in cocoa, cashew nuts, and certain seeds. Export also contributed. Today, the CSL stockbrokers now focus real GDP growth in 2025. In development of agriculture and the industry, President Tinubu's plan for economic reform also puts a lot of emphasis on bringing Nigerian agricultural and industrial sectors back to life. These things are not rocket science. They take time to bring about their positive effects. Now, agriculture used to be the main part of Nigeria's economy, but it had been neglected for decades. And the country became very dependent on food imports. This in turn made food prices go up, made agricultural sector less safe and less attractive, and made the country rely on foreign markets to match words with action. Federal government intervened with 1.5 trillion for recapitalization of the Bank of Agriculture. And in a bid to curtail harvest losses due to climate change, federal government has expedited action to incorporate agricultural insurance scheme into the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket Program to enhance stability and food security. The government is taking steps to reinvest in agriculture by increasing local production, improving food security, and creating jobs. This is happening under Tinubu's leadership. Priorities include giving farmers better access to training, technology, and loans. The government is also working on making farming more modern, using eco-friendly methods, and getting people to invest in agri-businesses. Tinubu has also said that industrialization is key part of Nigerians' economic future. His government is pushing for policies that will help Nigeria become more self-sufficient and less dependent on imports by focusing on local production and manufacturing. This includes works to make Nigerian infrastructure better, like roads, energy, logistics, so that businesses can run smoothly and effectively, to create jobs and encourage long-term economic growth. A big focus on developing important industries like textile, the cement, the technology, and all that. Then tax changes and encouragement to invest. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has started a full-scale tax reform program to make the tax system freer, fairer, and more efficient. The goal is to raise more money for government while making life easier for Nigerians. People often complain about the old tax system because it was too complicated, people didn't follow it well, and it didn't bring in enough money to meet the country needs. The government is working to making the tax code easier to understand as part of its reform agenda. This will make sure that businesses and people pay their fair share, and we also create incentives for investment. One of the changes is that companies that invest in job creation, research and development, and other areas of growth will get tax credits. They are also effect to get more people to pay their taxes by making the tax collection system better, making the system more open, and giving people, the businesses, incentive to join the formal economy. President Tinubu's plan for economy is a complex and ambitious way to change Nigeria's economy. His administration is dealing with the main cause of the country's economic problem by focusing on diversification, long-term growth, and making the country a good place to invest. The federal government, under the leadership of Tinubu, intensified its drive to boost the nation's income, rolling out aggressive collection strategies, tightening enforcement measures, and expanded its operational reach to capture more taxation and more taxable and non-taxable revenue streams. In the first 6 months of 2025, has earned 21.22 trillion as revenue. How is economic reforms helping Nigerians? President Tinubu's most important reform was bringing Nigerian exchange rates together. The broken multiple exchange rate system had made the financial world unstable and hard to predict. It caused people to bet on currencies, assets to be mispriced, and investors to lose faith. The Tinubu government has made the naira more stable and, more importantly, easier to predict by making the exchange rate the same for everyone and moving forward a system that is more driven by the market. One of the most important results of this reform may be that foreign investors are becoming more interested. International companies are more willing to make long-term investment in Nigeria. As the country currency becomes more stable, the unified exchange rate makes it easier for businesses to plan for costs and profits, which build trust. This has already brought a lot of foreign direct investment in areas like technology, infrastructure, and energy, which has helped the economy grow and create jobs. Now, banking and insurance. It is evident that 2 years into the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigerian banking sector has emerged as one of the biggest beneficiaries of his bold economic reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy and achieving a 1 trillion economic target by 2030. While many Nigerians, especially businesses in the manufacturing sector, are reeling double-digit inflation high living costs and interest rates, banks have recorded profits, attracted revenues, and also foreign investment, and cemented their position as key players in the economic growth. In first quarter of 2025, this is how some of the banks fared. Wema Bank grew their profit by 269.14% as interest income soars. Sterling Bank profit grew by 34.04%. First Bank grew by 34.45%. Zenith Bank grew by 22%, and UBA 36.09%, which simply means that the banking sector is actually doing well under this Tinubu administration. However, banks' assets are not measuring with the profits they post, and this is worrisome. Nigerians wake up to too many debit alerts from services they don't even understand and no explanations from the banks. Even though these debits are very insignificant in nature, but when cumulated, they run into billions of naira, and these are part of the profits that they declare. The bank also noticed. The bank also need to spread their nets to focus on granting loans to small businesses without much hitches to encourage their growth, and not pursuing politicians to take loans that they have no need for. We must encourage and support the government to do more for Nigerians, and the finance sector has major role to play in all this. They need to support the banking, need to support the government. Then insurance. President Tinubu focus on economic diversification has created a new insurance opportunity in the previous underdeveloped sector. President Tinubu has demonstrated particular attention to pensioners under both the defined benefit scheme managed by Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate and the contributory pension scheme operating under PENCOM oversight. The economic reforms, while creating adjustments, challenges, have also generated increased government revenues that have enabled more consistent pension payments and reduced the backlog of outstanding obligations that had accumulated over previous years. As of today, the government has successfully paid arrears of 8.6 billion to 148,628 retirees as of June 2025. Also, the federal government intervened with 18 billion to clear insurance arrears for military personnel to boost morale and support for security operation. With the newly signed into law of the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025, a breath of fresh air has been released into the insurance sector by the Tinubu government. This law repeals and consolidates several outdated insurance laws into a single and a more modern legal framework. We hope for a better and stronger insured society in the nearest future. Now, NSITF. The President Tinubu administration, being workers friendly, has rejigged the management of the fund for a more productive drive that will protect employees from work-related accidents and injuries. With strengthening the management, employers are beginning to gain confidence to comply with the employees' compensation scheme. However, the NSITF funds are not generated revenues. Federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Finance, should deduct from. These are workers' contributions that the fund must house 100%. Invest and increase the fund to ensure that there are enough funds for compensations when the need arises. At the moment, the federal government deducts 40% of monthly contribution or at source, which is not in line with the act that established the fund. So the Ministry of Finance needs to look at that and free that 40% so NSITF can have their contributions to invest and grow the fund that workers contribute to enable them meet up their requirements when the need arises. They're making jobs and giving people chances to work. This government of Tinubu, economic reforms are based on the promises to create jobs and lower the country's high unemployment rate, especially among the young Nigerians. The government is creating new job opportunities in many fields by focusing on building infrastructure, supporting local businesses, creating an environment that is good for building new roads, bridges, and transportation networks. Not only creating jobs during construction, but it also helps the economy in the long run. Efficient transport system makes it easier to do business, trade, and connect with other parts of the country. This creates jobs in logistics and retail. In second quarter of 2024, the unemployment rate stood at 4.3%, according to NBS, though projections for the unemployment rate in quarter 2 of 2025 are not consistent across sources, with trading economists suggesting that a rate of around 5% by the end of quarter 2, 2025, while statistical forecast 4.84% rate for the entire year, 2025. However, with the positive trend of President Tinubu policies and reforms, we hope for more job creation and reduced unemployment rate by the end of this quarter. Local industries and manufacturing, how Tinubu government is affecting them. Because we are taking this, all these are cumulative steps that the government is using to solve the problems of Nigerians. Now, going into local industries and manufacturing, Tinubu Renew Hope agenda focus on bringing Nigerians' manufacturing sector back to life is already paying off. The government is trying to get both local and foreign businesses to invest in Nigeria industrial base by giving them tax breaks and making it easier for them to do business here in Nigeria. This change is making jobs in the textile, cement, consumer goods, manufacturing industry, as well as in the technology sector, which is also growing. Let's start by looking at the NGS data. We have the consumer goods index, industrial goods index, oil and gas, banking, insurance, etc. Looking at how the NGS performed in the previous months vis-a-vis the current month, we determine progress. Though the data might be small, but again, it gives some pointer to how these indices have performed. If we look at that of July, we will see that the industrial sector did well. And the reason is, as inflation came down, it increased purchasing power of the people, cost of input, and it kind of increased production. And that's why the industrial sector is having a growth of about 34.28% as of July. This growth shows the support of 534.2 million shares. Companies like Bois, Lafarge, G, Mayer, in the industrial sector contributed to the positive growth, which is with impressive gains. The NGS Industrial Goods Index rose from 3,638.2 to 4,885.2 points, making the 34.8% increase for the month. Key contributors were G 88.4, you have Lafarge 70.87, Mayer 64.18, then Bois Cement 41.51%. Other notable gainers in that area were also chemical and allied products, Curtis, and others. They contributed. Then technology and the startups. technologies and the startup. The agricultural sector, which used to be the most important economy, is making a comeback. Tinubu's plan is to help smallholder farmers, make it easier for them to get loans and promote agri-processing industries are having a big effect. These projects are creating jobs in rural areas and helping people to become self-sufficient in food production and agricultural sector. Food imports, millions of Nigerians will work in farms, processing and distribution. The government has acquired 2,000 tractors for mechanized farming, the largest in the history of Nigeria. Direct support to 500,000 small farmers, 1.5 billion intervention support already made available to ginger farmers. Looking at the GDP data the government released, we saw that agricultural growth grew by 0.07%. And if we look at vis-a-vis our population, which is around 2%, that the gap is there and it's worrisome. But again, the intervention of government in food production chain is helping Nigerians to cool the effects. Otherwise, we would have seen that the inflation number had gone higher than we saw in the data, if not for government intervention and in terms of ensuring security and food is supplied in that area. The effect of security has also been an issue. We have disruption from insecurity, which the government has also done a lot about. And of recent, we achieved a break by the NSA capturing Asaru terrorist group and all that. So stabilizing wise, we have already stabilized in a way that the country is moving on the right direction. One of the main goals of President Tinubu's economic reform plan is to improve infrastructure. The Nigerian infrastructure has had a hard time keeping up with the growing population and economy over the years. The government has, however, put a lot of effort in improving this. There's not much time, right? However, we have a lot. Over 4 trillion savings from subsidy has been channeled towards infrastructural development and other critical sectors. Seed capitals of 150 billion each for newly established regional investment and commissions to boost infrastructural development. Also, 3.5 billion has been allocated to rehabilitate the Eastern Rail Line. I make it bold to say that investors' confidence is increasing by the day as federal government partner with a firm to build 60 billion high-speed bullet train in Nigeria. Also, the recent Lagos hosted California African Climate and Economic Partnership Initiative, focusing on expanding economic and climate ties, attracting FDI in key sector areas like technology, clean energy, transportation, and creative industry. All these are parts of what the Tinubu government has done. And also, in transportation, many roads are being done. We have economic roads like the auditions, 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, Lagos-Kano Rail Project, 1,068-kilometer Ilela-Lagos Badagry Sokoto Highway, Kano-Kaduna Rail, the 465-kilometer Trans-Sahara Road, 135 road rehabilitated, constructed in FCT, Kaduna Light Rail Project, rehabilitation of East-West Road. So all these are roads that the government has done. But steady energy and supply. A steady and dependable power supply is necessary for economic growth. The Tinubu government has tried to get more money into renewable energy and make the country's power infrastructure better. When the government came in, our total generation was about 8,846 megawatts and distributed less than 3,000. Today, we generate 14,000 and we distribute about 6,000 nationwide. The federal government, through the NNPCL, has also had a joint venture of 1,350 megawatts in Gwagwalada IPP to cost 2 billion when completed. The NDPHC, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, under the new management appointed by President Tinubu has facilitated bilateral agreement to address stranded power, allowing excess generation to be channeled to eligible customers. This has improved plant utilization and increase in revenue generation, reduced reliance on inconsistent payment from contributing companies. These efforts are unlocking financing for infrastructure upgrade and boosting investors' confidence. Notably, prior to August 2024, power plants such as Obire, Alaoji, Omotosho, NPP were recording plant availability factor below 5%. This level of underperformance translated to not only significant weight of natural resources, but also missed opportunity in improving power supply. I'm glad to inform Nigerians today that the 500 megawatts Alaoji power plant, which has been offline nearly 2 years, 2 units of 250 megawatts will resume operation by the end of September 2025. NDPHC, under the new leadership, have successfully recovered 5 generating turbines units across the fleet, restoring 625 megawatts to active distribution to the national grid. This has contributed to the increase in the available megawatts for national consumption and improved asset utilization. The ripple effect of this revival also reflects in improved revenue flow, job satisfaction, and a renewed sense of purpose across operation. Prof, Ambassador, you give me a little time. I just need to wind up quickly.
Okay.
We need to get these things across to Nigerians so they can know what is going on.
Okay.
So pardon me if I'm taking much time.
Okay, no worries, sir.
In the last 1 year, NDPHC has been able to contribute additional 625 megawatts to the national grid. The incremental capacity has come largely from Calabar, Ihobo, Motosho, Sapele. These milestones have generally improved sector-wide deliverables and performance metrics with effect in the performance of report published by NEC. One of the most significant milestones in the near completion of Egbema power plant, which was 52% completion, at 52% completion when the new management came in. But as we speak, it's about 80%. Other investment in investment in underway is 1.2 trillion special power interventions and World Bank backed electricity project, 24 billion intervention for mini grid at our high institutions, 213.7 billion intervention in electrification projects. So all these are the things that the government is doing to make life easier for our people. Then we have the economy integration, where Nigeria is more important right now in the African Continental Trade Fair, trade area. We have Nigeria as partner, and infrastructure make trade easier and strengthen Nigeria's position as key logistic hub for West Africa. This is also part of the achievement of this administration. Then on health, we have done tremendously. There are testimonies across country how citizens get subsidized health care. Because we're talking about step-by-step subsidized healthcare. There are testimonies across Nigeria where, because of the stabilized healthcare through Nigeria's healthcare sector renewal investment initiative, which was launched in December 2023, with secure $2.2 billion. This bold step has brought about a growth in health insurance coverage from 16.7 million people to 20 million people within a year, a total of 5.18% and of the 5.18% of the 47.9 trillion national budget was also allocated to health, and 45.9 billion to support 8,800 primary health care. On education, it's been a wonderful adventure for Nigerian students. The budgetary allocation for the year focused on improving infrastructure, expanding student funding, and increasing access to quality education at all levels. This also reflects the administration commitment to human capital development and efforts at boosting the power education and combating poverty. Also, 4.2 billion intervention fund for third form grants and research program, and about 825 billion intervention for UBEC and 9 new institutions. Today, we have another landmark achievement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in education is the NELFund loan, a flagship initiative aimed at removing financial barriers to higher education in Nigeria. Since its launch in May 2024, NELFund has registered 746,422 students, processed more than 740,000 successful loan application, and disbursed approximately 86.35 billion in interest-free loan to cover tuition fees and upkeep allowance in 218 institutions, while 38.72 billion disbursed to 449,039 students as stipends. This initiative has empowered the students from low-income family by providing accessible zero-interest loan without requiring guarantors or income threshold, hence promoting quality and inclusive in education financing. Then the social safety net is another big area that the Tinubu administration has also invested in. This year, Mr. President mandated a reform of N-Power scheme, including 32.7 billion investment for the National Social Investment Program, NELFund health subsidy, CS is now free for government hospital nationwide, kidney dialysis brought down from 50,000 to 12,000, loan to ginger farmers of 1.5 billion, 500,000 young smallhold farmers getting direct support from government, 500 million naira intervention fund allocated to women empowerment programs. All these are safety nets that this administration has bring to bear. So we look at strengthening investors' confidence, which is one of the things that will bring up the growth that we are gradually looking at. Investors are beginning to have confidence, and that will create more opportunity for Nigeria to progress. Then diversification of the economy is also there. Investment in infrastructure, we have talked about it. Energy, we've talked about it. Support for small businesses. The government of President Tinubu has intervened through the Bank of Industry, a 75 billion MSME intervention program aimed at supporting MSME across the nation, and the 200 billion intervention fund, BOI, for low interest SMEs. This initiative will greatly reduce, we increase production costs, reduce production costs, increase job creation, boost agricultural productivity, support business growth, enhance the thresholds. Youths, a lot has been done. In the youth sector, there's in line with Tinubu Renew Hope agenda, has through the initiative programs like the presidential CNG has distributed 2,000 CNG power tricycles to the less privileged. Another milestone is the Youth Cred, which is the largest youth credit intervention. A youth could access up to 200,000 single-digit interest loan, and so many. Then in sport development, we've had so much. We have so much in sport. Today, changes, before President Tinubu came on board, there were challenges that undermine football and other sport activities in Nigeria, which include but not limited to corruption, feet draining, poor officiating, nepotism, poor government policies. This changed when President Tinubu, in his wisdom, changed the narrative by appointing a capable chairman to steer the ship of the Nigerian Sports Commission and consequently increase government investment in sports, professional trainings and rewards for performance at global stages. Each is in transportation, welfare, payment of allowances to our footballers, athletes, and all that is now a thing of the past. This has boosted morale in the sports sector. We saw what happened, the rewards that the president gave to the sport people in recent time. Then we have, looking ahead, I'm gradually rounding up, please. Looking ahead, as Nigeria moves forward, the change in its economy that President Ahmed Tinubu has made will continue. The changes that have been made so far are just a first step towards a bigger plan for the future that is both sustainable and prosperous. The government is working to build a stronger economy that can handle future global shocks and make sure that all Nigerians benefit from the country resources. This means that things will keep getting better for Nigerians. The way to a better Nigeria economy, a diverse economy that makes less resilient in oil, is one of the main goals of President Tinubu's vision. The government wants to grow sectors other than oil, like agriculture, manufacturing, technology, and services. This diversification will make the economy more stable so that it won't be as affected by changes in oil. The government focus on sustainable development means that growth will not only happen right away, but will also last for a long time. This is because Nigeria's innovative spirit, infrastructure, and entrepreneurship, however, is a very good point. In as much as the custom rakes in revenue from duties, there's urgent need for the Nigerian custom to realign with the core values to gradually reduce Nigerians' interest in alternate options by protecting and encouraging local manufacturing and production. Areas of focus: critical economic reforms that will ensure self-sustaining economy is for the government to reposition the Nigerian Customs Service to focus on its core mandate and not just looking at the revenue drive. While we rejoice and commend the customs for raking in so much revenue from import tariffs, one question that should be on our mind as Nigerians that want a better tomorrow should be, how does this huge custom revenues affect local production, manufacturing, and growth of our industries? Now that the Tinubu administration has stabilized the economy, the Nigerian customs should see the possibility of working in line much more with the Renew Hope agenda to encourage our local productions by putting high tariffs on imported goods that we can produce in Nigeria, as this will discourage import and encourage local production. Taking us aback, memory lane, it is the introduction of structural adjustment program in 1986 that led to the liberation of imports, including used vehicles from Europe, America, Asia, and all that. This further suffocated local industries. We can reverse this trend with the audacious reform of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For example, Nigeria is big market. I'm rounding up. Nigeria is big market for luxury and transportation vehicle. In 2024, Nigeria's total value for imported and new and used vehicle stood at 1.26 trillion. These vehicles are mostly patronized by governments at various levels. Some portion might be middle and top class individuals. However, if we ban completely importation of Tokumbo vehicles and place more high tariff on imported brand new vehicles like Toyota, Mercedes, we further kill our alternative drive and focus on savings to buy Nigerian-made assembled vehicle. It will also open opportunity for real-time FDI to flow in in the vehicle manufacturing sector. With the ban of Tokunbo and high tariff on brand new vehicle, foreign brands will have no choice than to enter Nigeria to establish production lines and assembling plants. This will increase more jobs and our Naira will go stronger. It happened in South Africa, and today South African market supplies vehicles to other Southern African countries and even export to the UK as they use the same right-hand drive. Any used vehicle you see on sale in South Africa was bought brand new and was used before selling. There's no room for imported vehicles. We should discourage importation of used vehicles. Moving forward, not keeping to taking front seat at receiving what other countries have rejected in the name of Tokunbo. Nigeria is not a dumping ground for alternative to what we can produce. With these bold reforms of President Tinubu, Nigeria is already positioned to dominate such market across West Africa and beyond. If all the brand we patronizes see the reason to set up plants here, there will be so much vehicles produced for Nigerians to choose from, and that will give room for buy and pay within 24 to 36 months installment, opportunity that will make salary earners buy and drive new vehicles. Even both Uber, InDrive, and its like will upgrade for Nigerians to enjoy rides in new cars and value the services they pay for. So this, then, I will not end this paper without talking about the revolutionizing our correction centers. Currently, there are staggering 80,000 to 84,000 inmates in correction centers across Nigeria, idling away, while 68 to 70% are serving their J term. 30,000 to 32,000 are waiting trial. These are approximately, and there are approximately 1,953 female inmates, representing 2.4% of the total population. This is a huge workforce idling away in our prisons. The government can take advantage of this huge potential cheap labor to turn it into productive workforce by partnering with investors to change the story for both the inmates and the larger society after serving their term. First, let's take a careful look at the core goals of the Nigerian Correctional Service. These include the safe and humane custody of inmates, their reformation and rehabilitation through skill-based training counseling, and their successful reintegration into the society. You agree with me that apart from fair treatment of inmates, a major goal of reforming the inmates to become changed individuals after doing their term. However, the correctional centers are not equipped to train and reform inmates. Most of them end up leaving the centers worse and hardened than they were before they were sent to the centers. In line with the Renew Hope agenda, I humbly and respectfully call on the Minister of Interior to bring to bear in the correction centers his famous Midas touch that applied at the immigration that resulted in passport issuance in record time. He could revolutionize the correction centers by partnering with investors to set up factories or trainings the inmates to acquire skills that could sustain them after doing their term. The investors will undertake to refurbish the centers with modern clinics and recreation centers to make their stay comfortable. Those keen in pursuing further education should be encouraged. As new inmates comes into the centers, they are automatically employed and a bank account is open where his or her salary is going to every month. At the end of their stay at the correction center, they will have adopted to a new life and looking forward to their release to start afresh, leveraging on the skills they have learned or businesses they took part in. The money that is saved in the bank will become handy to start their life. Such inmates will never return to crime. Additionally, their integration into the society will be seamless. In conclusion, as we reflect on the economic reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has championed, we see a nation on the cusp of transformation. The bold policies and audacious decisions taken over the past 3 years have already begun to bear fruits, laying the foundation for a stronger and a more resilient Nigeria economy. Nigerians are already feeling the effects of these reforms with improved access to jobs, better infrastructure, and growing optimism for the future. While there are challenges to overcome, especially as the economy continues to adjust, there is no doubt that the Nigerian's path forward is one of the promise and potential. The president's economic vision has only addressed immediate concerns, but has set the stage for a long-term sustainable growth that will benefit every Nigerian. Together, as a nation, we must continue to believe in this change. The future is not set on the stone. It is something we build together day by day. Let us embrace this moment with the knowledge that the journey to a better Nigeria is one we all are part of. Hope for the future. From hardship to hope, Nigeria is on the journey of transformation. Through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's bold economic reform, step by step, the nation is steadily climbing out of the economic despair and into a future of sustainable growth, empowerment, and prosperity. Together as Nigerians, we must continue to believe in this change and actively participate in it. The Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution in China failed. China was poor and isolated country in 1980s. China rose from these failures and downturn in her economy to be world power and second largest economy. It is my hope and conviction that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu policies will launch Nigeria into a sustainable path of progress. Call to action. The road ahead is not without its challenges, but with determination, faith, and unity, the journey of a better Nigeria is well within our reach. The future we all desire within our grasp, but it is up to us as citizens to work hand in hand with our leaders to build the Nigeria we know we deserve. Let us work together with Mr. President. Let us work together with his visions in hope and in resilience towards a brighter tomorrow. Thank you. I remain Dr. Obire. God bless Nigeria. God bless President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and God bless Nigerians for keeping faith and the hope alive. Thank you once again.
Wow, 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 wow. What can I say? Thank you so very much, sir. First of all, I must say I'm kind of I'm short of speech to describe how your presentation was received both by myself and the teaming participants and followers and viewers on the TV. And trust me, I'm not always speechless when I'm in a state like in this element like this, can be a chatterbox. But today you made me to begin to struggle for how to describe what I've just experienced now. Thank you so very much. And before I go further, let me just do a public disclaimer now to Nigerians across the world. Please let it be known that Dr. Obire, Obire, is not a government employee. He's not employed by the Renewed Hope administration. He is an independent economist. And for him to speak in such glowing terms about the administration that we have now says a lot. I think it buttresses the point we have always been making on this program. And that was what you closed with, which gladdens my heart again, that we all must work together. A resilient, a receptive leadership now that seems to have its on point with the pulse of the nation. They know what the country wants. And that is why this administration is taking this bold, difficult, hard, but essential steps, which unfortunately some naysayers are trying to capitalize on now to change the narratives and make Nigerians to begin to hate. You see, I said something the other day. I said some Nigerians have this knack of killing their savior before they have the opportunity to save them. And that is what some of these naysayers are doing. And that is why we have created this platform for us to begin to, let Nigerians to keep them abreast of what is really going on. And that is why I bless God for you, sir, because you did a huge job today. Because if you had been a government employee, they would have said, oh, now money they work for. He is not working for his money. He is not part of this government. And for him to be speaking like this means some people somewhere sees what is going on in this country. And that is why some of us are passionate about this administration and we want it to succeed. And like you said, we will do everything within our powers to make sure that we work together with this government to succeed. Thank you so very much. You see, I can't thank you enough because I'm still struggling to find the right words because that was beyond brilliant. You spoke for exactly 90 minutes, and that was beyond. I said at the beginning, I said Nigerians should brace themselves for going back to school, and boy, did you take us back to school. I'm so glad. So glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're just gonna go before then. Because of the way you presented, you made your presentation, I've had so many calls on the chat room and private messages as well too, requesting for your presentation. So I would like to have it so that I've told them to send us their email address so that we can send it to them. Because I can't remember when last we had something this. It's always been like that every week, but this one is on a different level because the fluidity and I was counting all the segments of our economy, of our country that you were touching on. At some point, I lost count because I was thinking, okay, because to me now it's a question of which section of the country haven't you touched? Correctional centers, the economy, everything, manufacturing, you name it. Thank you so very much, sir. And may God continue to increase your knowledge. This is why we decided to go outside the government now to begin to look for. They call you guys eggheads, and it is not for nothing because you just proved it now. Because people in the academia, they have a way of doing their presentation that whether you like it or not, they will suck you in, and then go either by force or by a hook or crook, then go put that knowledge into your head, whether you like it or not. And you've just done that today. Now, thank you so very much, sir. And I think I just have to say thank you and thank you. And mark my words, I can see people asking us to bring you back. so please,
I'll be ready to be here anytime.
Okay, so please keep your door.
The goal is that where government is doing well, we need to give them a pat at the back. Where needs government attention, we need to draw their attention to it. You don't have to be inside government to make government work. And you don't have to be an appointee of government to give your 2 cents to see what can benefit the country. We all need a country that we can rely on. We all need a country we can call our own. We are tired. Some of us are tired of doing businesses out there. Some of us are tired of staying out there. But we need a stable and strong Nigeria. So I will also appeal to government appointees that are here listening today. Don't feel too big to ask for help. Don't feel too big to ask for when you see if you can engage some of us, we'll be able to define your policies, we'll be able to straighten them, we'll be able to bring a workable solutions to whatever you're doing. So don't see us as threats, see us as brothers, see us as partners in the journey to make a better Nigeria. We are here to support, to lend our support. We are here to help. We are here to do whatever it takes to have the Nigeria that we all need.
Thank you so very much, sir. And in support of the government, I would like to say here and now that this program has been is known for creating what we call a preparation meeting opportunity. Because since we started this program, we've had about 3 or 4 participants now who came on the program with programs of action that seem to gel with the renewed agenda. And I think 2 of them they've got appointment from federal government through that. So those listening, I'm sure at some point, they might send some kind of messages around. It's been known to happen before, and it will happen again, definitely. So just watch this space; it will happen. Thank you so very much, sir. I think it's about time for us now to go to the participants now for them to fire their questions. But before then, I just need to, because I've seen a couple of VVIPs in the house, and I just want to acknowledge their presence. I can see Engineer Olabode Jones Ajimijere from Russia, Dr. Tomori from Unilag, Honorable Felix Ajayi is an APC chieftain in the UK. I've seen Professor Hakim Ibikule Tijani, Engineer Bola Baride from South Africa. I've seen Don Anyam from the UK here as well. And I've seen the chieftain of the APC diaspora in Benin Republic is Honorable Adewale, I believe his name is. Thank you so very much for being part of this program. As the program goes on, we're still expecting more VVIPs. And as soon as they join, I can see Prince Dr. Adewale Akinyele as well too. We will be announcing their presence. So thank you so very much for this part. You see, this is what we are here for, to enlighten our people. And we've seen one of the reasons why this program is set up today now, because boy, I'm not going to go there again because I'm just going to go crazy. So let me yield the floor to my co-host now, Barrister Tosi, to please do the needful by inviting the participants to come up with their questions. Barrister Tosi Olayinka, you have the floor now.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, sir, our senior and Mr. Chairman, in person of Ambassador J.K. Adebola. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity once again. And also, I want to use this opportunity to welcome once again our distinguished guest in person of Dr. Odiapo Obire. Thank you for the wonderful PowerPoint analysis being given earlier. And I must say that it's been very, very beneficial, and we've learned a lot from your presentation. Thank you once more. Going forward to our participants, somebody from our other platform is asking that, in your opinion, what are the low-hanging fruits as regards the trickling down of the stable economy in the lives of the common people? And I think probably after you answer that, I'll move forward to our other participant. Thank you very much, sir.
Can we have up to 3-4 questions? So we'll just take them at once.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I would like to also invite Mr. Felix Ajayi to also get ready to bring forward his question or probably submission. And after that, Professor Hakim Ibikunle Tijani. All right, so we can start with the first one, and sorry. Either way, probably you do that, or you just want Mr.
Okay,
Felix.
great. That's awesome. When first of all, if you get into an environment, all you need to do is to assess very well. Then take a decision on how to function around that environment. Tinubu administration, to a lot of people, it has different meaning. It has different meaning. Some people will tell you things are worse. Some people will tell you things are this, things are that. But the truth is, even I watch some oppositions, the way they react to some of the economic reforms and all that, but because they are not, this is not their field, so they don't see what people like me see. You see, what I see is what I gave out there today. But the low-hanging fruit about this is, if you are a business person, if you are a Nigerians that want to progress inside Nigeria, first of all, start praying positively for Nigeria. That one is, you cannot cause a land that you will want blessings from. So you must, in every day when you pray for Nigeria positively. Declare positive prayer for Nigeria because you expect to gain from Nigeria. Then two, looking at the administration and all the reforms that are going on, as a youth, you can tap into a lot of the government interventions that are in place. You can tap into them. They are accessible. You don't have to be a governor's son or a senator's son or an APC member before you can access them. They are accessible. So you can apply, because knowledge is power. A lot of people are not aware and they don't research. So knowledge is power. If you are doing business, you are a small startup business, there are government interventions in the MSMEs and the SMEs. You can assess them, to grow your business. So in a nutshell, we just need to look at what area every Nigerians need to look at every area where they function in the economic sector, then restructure their SOP, their standard operating procedure towards accommodating what the government is tilting towards. With that, they'll be able to survive in whatever they do. So there are a whole lot to hold as low-hanging fruit. So there are much, honestly. You just need to identify where you belong, then tap into the resources that have been provided there. You'll be able to run with it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Mr. Felix Ajayi, you have the floor now, while Professor Akim Ibikunle Tijani should get ready. Mr. Felix Ajayi, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, brothers and sisters, honorable men. Can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, my phone is a bit low. To the doctor that made the presentation, I am on my, if you can, I'm prostrating for you. I want to say 200% thank you, sir. You have taken me back to the lecture room. I was just sitting, sipping my cup of glass of wine, and I was enjoying everything you are saying. As Ambassador Adebola was trying to stop you, I was saying, please just leave him alone. Let him continue, please. Everything was just going to my brain as if I'm in a lecture. You have delivered over, I was following the bullet point. I was able to count about 42 pages of documents, about 42 pages that you have presented within an hour. So that makes you to be qualified as an OON, by the president. OON. Now,
thank you.
When we tell Nigerians that there's gain in this administration, they will talk to us as if we are politicians and we are packaging them. Sir, how possible can you send an email to channels, Arise, and TV stations to say, please, I want you to invite me, that is you, to come and discuss this policy? Just let them give you 5 minutes. You don't need to go to their studio, because this is serious packaging. Without packaging, sorry. This is serious. I was having an issue with people over the weekend that, we had over 41 billion in our foreign reserve now. They said, what does that bring to my table? What does that benefit me? But after listening to you, we are less than 100 on this platform. By the time we translate, even if you give me the booklet and I'm sharing it with people, it won't be as if you vibrating on your own. So, and I'm sure you have not been paid a dime to come and speak on this platform. So if it's possible, please, it's not difficult. Try and send email to this television studio. I will forward one to Rufai. Last night I was speaking to Rufai. They have an economics section. That please, I want to come and discuss economic issue on your TV station, and they can do it remotely. That will give us a good standing on our government. And on my own, I'm in Lagos, so I wish I can see you, take a picture with you, and then give you a plate of Isewu and a bottle of a chilled Guinness. Or if you don't drink, I can give you a non-alcoholic wine so as to sit, because I want you to transfer your brain into my brain so that I can be able to lecture as you have lectured. So on the final note, on behalf of myself, my family, and my big brother, my boss, Ade Omole, I want to say thank you, sir. The God Almighty will continue to keep you, endow you, renew your strength, and take you to greater heights. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Felix Ajayi, for that. I will also move forward to call Professor Akim Ibikunle. Professor, you have the floor now, sir. Please.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Will you unmute me on the other one?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you just echoing. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I have to stop.
Okay.
Let me just.
You just need to.
Yeah, let me
switch off
just.
the other one.
Just give me 1 second. Now, can you hear just one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you hear it from my cell phone. Mine is going to be some admonitions to all, as well as a kudos. Towards the end of his presentation, I put my comment, and I will not repeat that. So you can go to the chat. It's positive. You see, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And it was the Prophet of Islam that admonished its followers to seek knowledge, even if it is as far as China, the farthest they can think about during his period. Okay? So seeking knowledge is important. Mr. Phyllis, Dr. Obire will not give you his brain. So that message is for you and for others, in as much as I know you were just being sarcastic and appreciative of his presentation. But I will advise that we must all seek knowledge. On December 21st, 1923, a group of young reformists called the Young Ansar, ANSAR, they have the audacity to challenge the British government, just like Dr. Obire have the audacity to challenge Ambassador Adebola that, look, don't stop me. I am still on the hot seat. I want to educate. And I love that at that point. He gave it to you, and the same thing that I usually do when I do public presentation. Once I get the mic, you can't tell me it's 5 minutes, it's 10 minutes. No. I did not come to spend 5, 10. I want to really pull it out so that we can dialogue. And that is what he has done. So this young Ansar, one of them happens to be the grandfather of Honorable Bajabi Amila. One of them happens to be my great-grandfather, Tiamiu Alao Tijani. Guess what they did? They challenged the British in terms of education, in terms of pedagogy, in terms of the content. And they set up a revolution never known in the previous century. And today you can talk about the Ansaruddin Society, a reformist group that transcend Islam. I'm saying this for emphasis because one thing that people do not know about this government that I have also come to terms with as Dr. Obire and so many others, beyond what somebody that claimed to be a provost of whatever college, I was trying to bring up the chart, was asking the question about masses, is the fact that for the first time we have practical history. We have people with a sense of history in governance. We have people, just like the presenter, digging deep without necessarily going to the camp, okay, in Mowe, to really checkmate facts. Because as we historians often said, facts are sacred.
Yeah.
Objectivity is the hallmark. What I have seen in the presentation and his response to the first question is that I am presenting the facts before me. And I'm interpreting it before me. So whether or not some masses, there will always be an element of ebing pa me, ebing pa won, ebi okpa me. Not because I'm a professor, but because I judiciously look at what I can tap in. You mentioned education, telephone. By His grace, I lost count of how many people I'm sponsoring, both private and public. And I returned to Nigeria for 10 good years, 2011 to 2020, living dollar salary, working in the Nigerian university system, where I started in 1989. I have no regret. And today I still go back as a visiting professor. So what I'm telling us is this, Dr. Obire, you have the opportunity. I don't know your location, okay, but from your intervention, I think you are outside Nigeria.
No, I'm in Abuja.
You're in Abuja. God bless you. Yakubu Gowon University is there. National Open University of Nigeria is there. Nasarawa State is there. What stops you, in addition to what you're doing, to join us and be a visiting professor? So the students need someone like you to teach practical economics.
Yeah.
And then you challenge them through service learning to go and fact check the pedagogy of teaching. I'm very big on pedagogy workshop, the art and science of teaching. Given our limited resources is very, very important. Please, I beg of you, Mr. Tosin, don't cut me off. Give me the time, please. I'm sorry. Because I know
problem.
your time all up. Please, thank you,
Carry
sir.
on, carry on, sir.
So it's very, very important because, and I'll also advise you, Dr. Obire, if you do not know, to register on Diaspora Bridge. It was launched formally during the NICOM Nigerian in the Diaspora conference for this year. Okay, 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago, if you go to the Ministry of Education website, you can register and your expertise is needed. It is about sacrifice. For us, it's not money. It's not all about money, okay? The other thing I want to talk about generally to Ambassador Adebola, Mr. Tosin Olayinka, and the rest of them, and the AGIA and all of you, is that we need a serious roundtable. Well, this professor of structural economics, don't worry, I'm a professor, a former deputy vice chancellor. If I were to hire you, I would definitely look at the papers and assess you and say, well, you due for that. What you have done is to give us a snippet from all the sectors, some of what some of us are doing already. But we need also an in-depth. The fact that you spend 42 slides, 1 hour and something, is not enough to educate and reshape the psyche of some of us, even those of us on this platform. I can't imagine somebody asking that generalist question about something that has been destroyed literally for years, cannot be overturned. It's a gradual process. And there is no perfection. We are not saying the government is perfect. There will be no perfect government. But the further element of trying, evidence of infrastructural changes, benefit to the populace is very, very important. And that leads me to the last comment. We as a people must engage in informal education. Informal education beyond the National Orientation Agency. This group can engage in that, can disseminate, that is after the roundtable, to really dissect. On education is my, purview to I can flow. I have the fact and I have what we can do better. Lastly, I mentioned about sponsoring some people going to university, orphans like myself. I've been through it. I know what poverty is on the island of Lagos, thanks to Christ Church Cathedral School and the church close to my family house in Kakawa compound. When they sent to me, 3 of them, oh, it's next time we have to pay. Of course, I say we, it's me paying anyway. I say, young man, young woman, young lady, young girl, have you heard about NEL? Go and check NEL fund. I was surprised when all of them said they don't know anything about NEL fund. I said, what do you use that smartphone that you just purchased? I said, go and seek for knowledge. And then, oh, I see. Oh, but you don't have to know anybody. Did they say you must know Tijani or Adebola or Obire before you apply? It is not about Lagos State bursary that some of us have to line up on Brickfield Road in the early 80s to get an interview. You complete it objectively, complete it with integrity, and then, baga, you will hear the alert. Okay? And today, I can tell you that I am free of paying any, because all of them are in the, so they must seek knowledge. We have to do more. We have to do more. And for anyone to generalize, you must go to the market. I was listening to this governor that said he's the general or the director general for the 2027 campaign.
Of Niger State.
Yeah. And he was being interviewed. And somebody was saying the price of Gary and whatever. And he factually decolonized that view.
Yeah.
And reshape the psyche of that person. You must come to the table with facts, because facts are sacred. And I thank you, sir, for this opportunity to learn from you, Dr. Obire. I have learned today, and the Lord will continue to grant you more wisdom. To the organizers, I say thank you, sir, as always. God bless you.
Thank you, Prof. We sincerely appreciate that great submission. I'm not sure if I will ask from my chief host if we could bring forward the questions or submission from other participants, but because of our time, probably we might just
No, we're closing. We're closing.
All right, sir.
We will send a question to our special guest later on.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, distinguished guests, for doing justice to all the submissions and questions being asked. So on this note, I would like to yield the floor back to Ambassador J.K. Adebola. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I don't know, maybe Dr. Obire would like to respond to some of the opinions that's been expressed by both Professor Tijani and the other speaker.
Yes, I just want to say thank you very much for for the encouragement. Nigeria is our country. We don't have another one. I lived in the UK for 26 years, and I'm back to Nigeria to see what I can do to contribute to the growth of the country. And if I have any opportunity, to do whatever I can to support the government and the people, I will always make myself available. I get all Prof said. I will take them into serious consideration so I can share with the younger people at the university on part-time basis. So I will reschedule my time to accommodate that, so I can pass on the knowledge that I've acquired over the years. As for my brother that needs my brain, yes, I will pass it on to you. You're welcome. I'm in Abuja, and like I said, is our nation. Many people think you have to be a government appointee to be able to speak to government or be able to, or to accept whatever the government is doing. I'm not that kind of person. Even if I am in the government, I have an appointment. If I see anything negative, I will still point it out for us to correct it, because when we tell ourselves the truth, that is the only time we can prefer a long-lasting solution to whatever problem that we face. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I love him because he has this boldness. He takes decisions looking ahead, not just immediate solution. What previous government has been doing to the economy is akin to a crack wall. So what they do is they bring fillers, they just fill it, and they paint it, and it becomes so bright. Everybody sees, oh, lovely, lovely. After some time, it gives way again. And when another person, instead of reinforcing, bringing it down and reinforcing,
Yeah,
they keep just filling patch and paint, and everybody see it as new. But Tinubu come and he said, no, I will take hard decision, and hard decisions comes with pain. But after pain, what happens? Here comes the joy, because if you look at the pain of a woman delivering, she wouldn't want to even any man to near her again. But the moment she delivered that child,
she wants another one.
She wants another child. Joy comes.
Yeah.
The moment change. So we must look at life from that perspective. Yes, if you want change, there must be some sacrifices. And I thank Nigerians for keeping up with the faith and looking at it and running with it. And I hope that with this, in the nearest future, before the next, if God helps, by the grace of God, which I know that the president will be back again in 2027 because he's doing a great job. So by the time he finishes his second term, Nigeria will not be what he meant. Just 2 years, I pointed out a lot.
Yeah.
So let's see how the remaining 2 years and another 4 years will go. Then we're on the right path. And I'm sure that with whatever foundation the president is putting down right now, by the time he is going to leave that seat, he will not leave the seat for someone who has no knowledge or has no future or has no plan to keep those reforms going. So certainly we're on the right path. We are on the right path. We pray for God for good health for Mr. President.
Amen. Pray
for good health. We pray for more wisdom so that Nigeria can get to where we are going. We must speak truth to ourselves. Some people are collating. I'm looking at them. These are people that were part of previous government, just last government here.
Yeah.
A minister say he's hungry. It's I don't understand. So what did they do when they were there?
Yeah.
What did they forget to do that they want to do now?
Mm.
So you see, Nigerians are not, they are not fools. Every day they are coming to terms with reality.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Mm.
Inflation is coming down. For the past 4 months, it's been dropping.
Yes. Yeah.
Certainly will continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fuel price rose to 1,200. Today is between 800 and 900. Gradually, you see things coming down. We bought SIM cards in this country for 25,000. Today, SIM card is 200 naira. So there must be pain before gain. And the gains within the past 2 years, except you don't have an economic in-depth, you won't see them. But we see them, we know them. In the next 2 years, we will still come back and reel out what has happened in 4 years for Nigerians to see, and the reason why Tinubu must come back. This is just it. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I am available for you to use.
Thank you.
Call me anytime on any issue that had to do with the country and the economy. I'll be here to give my candid advice.
Thank you.
To the government.
Thank you so very, very much, sir. I'm afraid for the person who has his hands up, we won't be able to ask any more questions now because it's 2 minutes past 6 when we want to stick to our 2 hours because it's like I've always said to you, for anybody who engages with our special guests, all of them, they have what I consider crazy schedules. So for them to leave that and come and stay with us for 2 hours, I think we just need to respect that and make sure that we keep within that. And that's why I always say, if you have anything to say, put your hands up on time. If you put your hands up on time, then we'll be able to bring you in so that you'll be able to ask your question. So I'm afraid if you have anything, please just put it on the chat on the chat room. Then we'll pass it on to our special guest. Thank you so very much, sir. You see, I just need to maybe add 1 or 2 things to what you just said now, because I see the same passion that I have for my country in you, and that is why, from the very moment you started to talk, I saw that this one, now my kind of man be this one. One of the things I like to say is this, and I've been saying it so many times, which you resonated it now when you were talking. I said Nigeria is like, I likened Nigeria to somebody who has been diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, and he needed to go through a painful procedure, right, to cure him of the cancer. But he now says, no, I prefer to make her take aspirin. Huh? Because all that aspirin does is just to numb the pain. It's not going to cure it, which is what previous government has been doing, yeah, for our country. And that was why I wrote in my Saturday message today. I said, what some generals couldn't do as presidents, a bloody civilian came and is doing it now. I said, what we need to do is to give the man, yeah, his, what do they call now? His flowers. Because if a bloody civilian can be this bold to be doing what he's doing now, because I've said it before here that the reason why the so-called generals couldn't do what they were supposed to do to keep the country on an even keel was because they were afraid of the kind of blowback that the president is getting now. They were scared of that. That was why they couldn't do it. But this man came and he said, you know what, I don't care. The country has to get better. So if you have a cancer, don't go taking painkiller. Go straight for the surgery. The surgery will be very painful, yeah, because you have to go through, you see, you need to go through something to get to something. And unfortunately, some of us are the kind of people who wants to die, but who wants to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. I read what Professor Tijani was alluding to earlier. Somebody who wrote on the charts here, and the reason why I didn't even want to give him space was because he was asking. He was saying, let me just go through it again. Maybe you understand the reason why I said this one doesn't even deserve to be acknowledged. He was saying see the price of staple foods have not reduced. And in my head, I'm thinking, which planet is he living in? Because I may not live in Nigeria, but I go to Nigeria very often. The last time I was in Nigeria about a few months ago, I bought a bag of rice, 50 kg for 50,000. It came down from 110,000 to 50,000. And somebody is telling me that the price of staple foods is not reducing. For me, people like that, there's nothing you do. Even if you give it to them for free, they will still complain. So we are not concerned about them. We are concerned about people who really sees Nigeria as the cup of Nigeria as half filled, not half empty. It is those people that I'm more concerned about. Those are the kind of people that I feel would be very objective in their analysis of what is going on in the country, which is exactly what we just done now today, with facts and figures. You can even if you speak for 3 hours, someone like that will never be convinced. So I don't want to stress myself for that, but again, I just want to thank you again for being who you are, for the passion that you've shown for the country. It really gladdens my heart that we still have people like this, who both within and outside the country, who are passionate about, and they see what is going on now as the panacea to get the country out of the doldrums that we've been pushed to over for over 2 decades of inactivity by past leaders. So thank you so very much, sir. So I don't know, before we close now, maybe you have some last minute remarks for either the participants, the organizers, or Nigerians in general.
All right. First, I want to say thank you, Ambassador. It's been wonderful. We've been talking for a week plus, and today we get to see face to face here. So it's my pleasure. Thank you for having the faith in me and selecting me to come and do this. I'm elated. I'm excited talking to Nigerians and the government. To the participants, God bless you for your time.
Amen.
And all the questions and all the encouragement. Prof Hakim, thank you so much. I really appreciate. I think I will have your number from Prof, so we can interact. And anybody that needs my contact can get it from Prof also. So Ambassador can get it from Ambassador. We can continue the journey outside here. But for today, I will say I am grateful and thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much. God bless. But before you go, sir, I just read something on the chat room now. I told you, you become like the star boy for today now. Pardon my French. King Wale Ade of the NCBN, I think he's from Canada. He asks, can Dr. Obire speak in Canada on October 29th to 31st?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I will take his details, and you guys will talk, so that Canada, you go. Thank you, King Wale Ade, for that request. Please put your, before we close now, please put your email address there, so that I can exchange that with our special guest, so that both of you can talk about him coming to Canada to speak. I think I know what that is. It's Nigerian Canadian Business Network kind of thing. So I think it's rammed right down your alley. So thank you so very much, sir. So on this note, we'll be drawing the curtain on today's program. So thank you so very much, everybody, for both our participants and for millions of our followers who watch us on Ben TV and on our various social media channels. Thank you so very much for keeping the faith with us every week unfailingly. We appreciate it. God knows that all we are doing here is just to make sure that, because I've been saying it every time, that the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now is because I don't want to wake up tomorrow and when my children ask me that, Daddy, when Nigeria was going wrong, what did you do? I want to be able to beat my chest to say and point and say this and this and this and this are what I did. That's what I'm doing, and it gives me joy to be doing it every week, despite all the hardship that goes with it. Hey, I don't care, because I know I'm doing something that I can be proud of, and I believe that is it is the same for all our participants and people and my team as well, because it takes a team to get this to work every week. So thank you everybody for all you're doing. So on this note, we'll say I think I've got somebody to give our closing remarks. Dr. Damagum, are you here? Are you on the platform? Because this is a teamwork. Dr. Damagum, please give us your closing remarks, please. Dr. Dama, let me have a look. I need to, yeah, okay. You can unmute now. Dr. Damagum. Okay. I think it's probably having some kind of, so on that note, I would like to say thank you so very much, everybody, and especially to our special guest. My regards to your family. And when next I come to Abuja, definitely we'll meet up. Because I've been to Abuja twice this year now. So hopefully before Christmas, I'll be there again. So I would like to meet with you outside this whatever it is, on a more relaxed atmosphere where we can have a bit of, we call it balado in Yoruba language. So thank you so very much.
With pleasure.
So on that note, Nigerians, we'll be back next week. In the next couple of days, we will be posting the copy of, the details of our next VVIP for next week. Thank you so very much, and God bless you.